February 28, 2026, 9:27 a.m. Tehran time. The first explosion rocked Iran's capital with a force that shattered windows across multiple neighborhoods. According to Fars news agency, the blast originated near University Street in central Tehran. Then another explosion. Then another. Within minutes, plumes of black smoke rose above the city skyline. According to witnesses quoted by Al Jazeera and Reuters, the explosions came in waves, targeting specific locations with precision. This was not random bombardment. This was assassination. And the target, according to multiple Israeli and American officials, was a man who had ruled the Islamic Republic of Iran for 37 years, Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. By 5 a.m. Tehran time on March 1st, Iranian state television confirmed what the world had been hearing in fragments. Khamenei was dead, killed in his office compound, along with his daughter, son-in-law, daughter-in-law, and grandchild. The longest-serving leader in the Middle East, eliminated in a joint American-Israeli operation. The operation had been planned for months. According to a senior Israeli defense official speaking to Reuters on February 28, the joint U.S.-Israeli attacks had a specific execution date set weeks in advance. The operation had two names, Operation Epic Fury for the United States and Operation Roaring Lion for Israel. According to U.S. Central Command spokesperson Captain Tim Hawkins, the mission objective was eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu stated the aim was to remove the existential threat posed by the terrorist regime in Iran and to create conditions for brave Iranian people to take their fate into their own hands. This was regime change attempted through decapitation. The military buildup had been visible for weeks. According to the Wall Street Journal and CNN, reporting through February 2026, the United States had assembled its most significant military presence in the Persian Gulf since the 2003 Iraq War. Aircraft carriers, including the USS Abraham Lincoln, had been positioned in the region. According to Defense Geek, a military aviation tracking account, for B, 2 Spirit stealth bombers flew nonstop from the United States to Iran to attack regime targets. Israeli Air Force assets have been placed on highest alert. The strikes began at dawn on February 28th. According to the Israeli Defense Forces, the operation launched with full synchronization and coordination between Israeli and U.S. militaries. The targets included Iran's military infrastructure, government symbols, and intelligence facilities. But the primary objective, according to Channel 12 News citing Israeli intelligence sources, was Khamenei himself. Satellite imagery analyzed after the strike showed severe damage to Khamenei's residential compound in Tehran, with structural collapse consistent with precision-guided munition impacts. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi initially denied reports. Speaking to NBC News early on February 28th, Araghchi stated that Khamenei and President Masoud Pezeshkian were safe and sound, as far as I know. Iranian news agencies Tasnim and Mehr reported Khamenei was steadfast and firm in commanding the field. But according to Israeli officials speaking to Reuters, Khamenei's body had been located in the rubble. A photograph was reportedly shown to Netanyahu, according to Channel 12 News. U.S. President Donald Trump, at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on February 28, posted on Truth Social, Khamenei, one of the most evil people in history, is dead. This is not only justice for the people of Iran, but for all great Americans. By 5 a.m. Iran time on March 1st, Iranian state television made the official announcement. Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei had been killed. According to Fars news agency, Khamenei's daughter, son-in-law, grandchild, and daughter-in-law were also killed in the same strikes. The government declared 40 days of mourning and 7 days of public holidays. Khamenei was not the only target eliminated. According to Israeli Defense Forces spokesperson Brigadier General Efi Defrin, multiple senior Iranian officials were killed. The list compiled by the Jerusalem Post and Al Jazeera included IRGC Commander Mohammad Pakpour, Defense Minister Aziz Nezazadeh, Ali Shamkhani, Senior Advisor to Khamenei, Chief of Staff Mohammad Bagheri, and according to Iranian media on March 1st, Chief of Staff Abdulrahim Mousavi. According to Iran International citing Iranian Students News Agency, thousands of IRGC personnel were killed or wounded as multiple military bases were attacked. The scope was massive. According to Iranian media citing the Red Crescent, strikes targeted 24 provinces, killing at least 201 people initially. The most horrific incident occurred in Minab. An Israeli airstrike hit the Shajare Tayyibeh Girls Elementary School, killing at least 115 people initially, with the death toll later rising to 148 according to compiled sources. Another school east of Tehran was also struck. U.S. Central Command stated they were aware of reports and investigating. In southwestern Iran, at least 15 people were killed when a sports hall and residential areas were struck, according to Ernest citing local Governor Ali Khamenei. Iran's response came swiftly. Within hours of the February 28 strikes, according to IRGC statements and Al Jazeera reporting, Iran launched retaliatory missile and drone attacks targeting Israel and U.S. military assets across the Middle East. In Israel, Iranian missiles struck Beit Shemesh, killing 9 people, according to the Times of Israel. In Tel Aviv, missile impacts caused fires and building damage. Israeli defense systems intercepted numerous projectiles, but several penetrated. U.S. military installations across the Gulf came under attack. According to reports from Bahrain, Qatar, UAE, and Kuwait cited by Al Jazeera and CNBC, Iranian missiles and drones targeted U.S. bases in all 4 countries. In Bahrain, drone attacks caused fires, but U.S. Central Command reported no American casualties. In the UAE, according to the Defense Ministry, drone attacks on an Abu Dhabi naval base caused fires, and debris fell in residential Dubai areas, injuring 2 people. Jebel Ali port was hit by debris, causing fires. According to Syrian aviation data, at least 1,579 flights were canceled on March 1st, with Dubai International Airport suffering 70% cancellations. The IRGC claimed they attacked the U.S. aircraft carrier Abraham Lincoln with 4 ballistic missiles. U.S. Central Command did not confirm hits, stating they suffered no casualties and neutralized several hundred Iranian drone and missile strikes. The reaction inside Iran revealed a divided nation. According to Reuters citing witnesses in Tehran, Karaj, and Isfahan, celebrations erupted as news of Khamenei's death spread. Videos verified by Al Jazeera showed people in Karaj, Kazvin, Shiraz, Kermanshah, Isfahan, and Sanandaj celebrating. According to the New York Times and NPR, loud cheers echoed across Tehran after 11 p.m. local time on February 28, with residents applauding and playing celebratory music. The celebrations reflected deep unpopularity of Khamenei's regime, particularly after violent crackdowns on massive protests that erupted in late December 2025. Those protests, according to reporting through January-February 2026, had been the largest since the 1979 revolution, driven by economic collapse, hyperinflation exceeding 40% per World Bank data, and plummeting real value. Hundreds of thousands had demanded regime change across over 100 cities. The government response was brutal. The U.S.-based human rights activist news agency estimated 7,000 protesters killed. The Iranian government claimed 3,117 deaths. Trump and others claimed 32,000. On January 17, 2026, Khamenei publicly acknowledged several thousand had died, blaming external enemies. For many Iranians celebrating his death, this was justice. But celebrations were not universal. According to Al Jazeera, Reuters, and the New York Times, government supporters gathered in Tehran and near Imam Reza's shrine in Mashhad mourning Khamenei. Photographs showed Iranians crying, holding portraits. According to Iranian state media, tens of thousands gathered at Engelab Square on March 1st, dressed in black, waving Iranian flags. Security forces responded to celebrations with violence. According to verified videos, security forces opened fire on celebrants in multiple cities. The government imposed a near-total internet shutdown starting around 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on February 28, according to NetBlocks. National connectivity fell to 4% of normal levels. Despite the blackout, videos of celebrations and mourning continued circulating. The geopolitical implications were immediate. Trump framed the killing as beginning regime change, urging Iranians to take their destiny into their own hands. Netanyahu echoed this. But according to Barbara Slavin of the Stimson Center speaking to Al Jazeera, Iran has a plan for succession. IRNA reported a 3-person temporary leadership council formed: the president, chief of judiciary, and 1 jurist from the Guardian Council. This body would oversee until the assembly of experts elected a new supreme leader. But uncertainty remained. Ali Larijani, Iran's top remaining security official, announced the council and accused the U.S. and Israel of trying to dismantle Iran, warning secessionist groups of consequences. Parliament Speaker Mohammad Bakr Kalibaf threatened Trump and Netanyahu directly, saying they'd cross a red line and would pay for it. The IRGC pledged their most intense offensive operation ever. "We will deliver such devastating blows that you yourselves will be driven to beg," Kalibaf stated on March 1st. Trump fired back on social media. "They better not do that. If they do, we will hit them with a force that has never been seen before." The exchange captured the escalation spiral both sides were entering. Regional reactions varied sharply. Iraq saw immediate protests. According to Reuters and Al Jazeera, protesters stormed toward the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad. Iraqi Popular Mobilization Forces mourned Khamenei, with 2 PMF members reportedly killed in Israeli strikes in Iraq. In Pakistan's Karachi, according to police, hundreds of Shiite Muslims stormed the U.S. consulate, smashing windows. Police used tear gas. At least 6 people were killed in clashes. In Kashmir and other Indian regions with Shia populations, protests erupted mourning Khamenei. Iran's strategic allies offered diplomatic protests but little substantive support. Russia condemned the strikes, but was not in a position to offer meaningful military assistance. China's foreign ministry urged the U.S. and Israel to immediately stop military action and respect Iran's sovereignty, but stopped short of strong backing. European nations called for maximum restraint but took no concrete actions. By March 1st, as attacks continued, humanitarian and economic costs mounted. Airspace closures grounded hundreds of flights. Oil markets braced for supply disruptions. OPEC Plus announced a modest reduction increase of 206,000 barrels per day, attempting to calm fears. Financial analysts predicted markets would swing between risk-off trades if conflict escalated and potential relief if the regime collapsed quickly. The operation shattered any remaining prospect for diplomatic resolution of Iran's nuclear program. According to multiple reports, the U.S. and Iran had engaged in 3 rounds of indirect talks just the previous week, with progress reported. Omani mediators and Iranian officials described the last round on Thursday, February 27th, as positive with significant progress. Less than 24 hours later, bombs fell on Tehran. According to Nigar Mortazavi of the Center for International Policy, this is, once again, a war of choice launched by the U.S. with a push from Israel. Israel has pushed the U.S. to attack Iran for 2 decades, and they finally got it. The historical significance was undeniable. Ali Khamenei had ruled Iran since 1989, succeeding Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini, who led the 1979 Islamic Revolution. His 36 years and 6 months as supreme leader made him the longest-serving head of state in the Middle East and longest-serving Iranian leader since Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi. According to historical records, he was the first Iranian head of state assassinated since Nasser al-Din Shah Qajar in 1896. Under his leadership, Iran survived decades of sanctions, international isolation, proxy wars, and multiple near wars with the U.S. and Israel. He oversaw Iran's nuclear program advancement, regional influence expansion through proxies like Hezbollah and Houthis, and violent suppression of multiple protest movements. Now he was gone, and the question facing the Middle East on March 1st, 2026, was whether his death would lead to the liberation Trump and Netanyahu promised, or to a spiral of violence consuming the region. The celebrations in Iranian streets suggested hope for change. The mourning crowd suggested resistance. The missiles flying in both directions suggested that whatever came next would be written in blood. The assassination of Ali Khamenei was not an ending. It was a beginning of something far more dangerous and unpredictable.